This is take two. Sorry, something happened earlier and it just ended the earlier broadcast. But it's okay because I hardly went into it. Anyway, hoping you guys, whoever's seeing me live right now on Facebook as well as on YouTube, please say hi. Let me know where you're watching me from. And as the title suggests, I wanted to let you guys know that my husband and I, we found a house and we're actually getting the keys tomorrow. So if you've been realizing that I've been a little bit quiet on social media, that I haven't been doing my videos of late, well, for one, as we get closer to Chinese New Year, this is actually the time of year where my business is the busiest. And so just imagine doubling the workload and the stress and the to-do list on my plate right now, because I'm not just dealing with business, I'm also now dealing with closing on the house, with getting all the documentations, the insurance, all the services, and also doing a renovation in the house. And moving. We are moving end of this month. And those who have followed me, you will know that this will be the second time I move this year. We moved back in March to where we are right now. We knew that was going to be temporary because we knew we were going to be house hunting, but we weren't going to be house hunting in like desperation mode. Well, at least that's what we thought initially. We thought we were just going to take it cool, take it slow, and not rush into anything and not get into bidding wars, which is still a big thing here in Toronto. Real estate is still a little bit crazy right now. So that is, so between business being in the busiest time of the year and everything around the house and the holidays, I'm just trying to keep sane. To be honest with you, I am just trying to hold on to whatever shred of sanity I have left. So it's been very, very interesting, the last few weeks, to say the least. Now, some of you are a little bit curious in terms of my, sorry, I'm just looking off the screen because that's where my computer is, and I'm looking just in case there are comments from you guys. Hello, Dong Fam here. Hey, Mitch. And whoever's watching on YouTube, feel free to say hi as well. Hello, Beth. Hi, Susan. Anyway, so on today's impromptu live stream, honestly, I wasn't thinking about doing a video, but my social media manager gently reminded me that I've been a little too quiet, and it's not good for the people who are waiting to hear from me. So if you want to know about my house hunting journey, the ups and downs, as well as how we ended up getting the house that we have now, and also a little announcement towards the end, also house related, that I think you guys, especially if you've been watching my video, I think you guys will really like this. So we started house hunting basically since we moved into this apartment. So we moved in March of this year to this place, a rental, and we knew that was going to be temporary. And so we started looking. We had our perimeters in terms of we didn't want to own a car. So we told our real estate agent that it had to be very, very accessible, like with public transit, close enough to the highways. I honestly Uber everywhere. I take a cab everywhere now. It's just way better than driving, honestly, because here in Toronto, car insurance is high. You have to look for parking and everything. So that's one. And then obviously we had a budget to work with the real estate agent. And Toronto real estate, because we thought, okay, this is going to be our first house. FYI, we always, I won't say hated, but my husband and I, we have always, for years now, resisted the idea of owning our own home. when people tell us that we should be buying a house, we're like, no, we would rather put our money invested elsewhere. And so, yeah, and to be honest, there's still a little bit of part of me where I go like, oh my gosh, I really don't want to be owning a house right now. Like, it's, what have I gotten myself into kind of moments. I'm definitely excited to move into the house, but there's definitely moments where I feel safer being a renter. There's less responsibility, less worries, definitely in terms of the roof over my head. Anyway, so we started looking, and we thought, okay, since this is our first home, let's go for, something like a smaller house, right? I've always loved small homes anyway. And by the way, in Feng Shui, you do not want to be in a house that's too big for you. You want a home where almost all the rooms are being used, because it's what's called human chi. So if it's just the two of you and you're in like a 4,000 square foot home, that's actually not good, because there's not enough human chi, human breath, to spread around in that whole house. And there's a school of thought as well that there's also spirits that are more likely to come. This is whether or not you want to believe it, but this is part of the Asian belief, is that if the house is too big for you, then you're likely, that the space is going to get taken over by other forms of energy. I saw a listing. It's a beautiful home, and my heart skipped a beat. And I asked my husband, hey, have you seen this one? Maybe we should take a look at it. He's like, yeah, I saw it a couple of weeks ago. It was on the market. It had been on the market for a whole month at that point. He said, yeah, I saw it a couple of weeks ago, but I didn't really think much about it. And I said, let's just go to the open house. But the open house, which was on a Sunday, happened to be when I was at Niagara Falls for a mommy getaway. And so I was like, oh, just go with your sister. Just go take a look at it. To be honest, the night before, because I was curious, the night before we actually drove by, and I went up to the front of the door with my compass in the cloak of the night. Felt like a little robber at that time, with my compass, and took a compass reading to see what the house is facing, so that I could at least calculate the Feng Shui flying star energy. I didn't have the proper layout, so I couldn't calculate the other advanced Feng Shui energetically for the house, but at least I have the flying star. And so with that, so Saturday night I took a compass reading, and then Sunday, when I was at Niagara Falls, my husband and my sister-in-law went to the open house. And they called me while I was at the wineries, getting quite happy from the wines. My sister-in-law called me up and said, this house is gorgeous. And by the way, because it was on the market for a whole month, that Sunday morning when the open house happened, the price actually dropped by almost $40,000. And so because of the price drop, and my sister-in-law and my husband called me as well, they both fell in love with the house, and they said, let's put an offer. Let's just put an offer on the house right now, because the price just went down. It's going to be like a whole bunch of people just, buzzing around this house at this point. My agent was ready with the offer, and we were going to go to the house to present the offer to the owners at 2:00. And so the whole morning. So this is where above and beyond Feng Shui comes in, you guys, okay? I wanted this house because as far as I could tell from the photos on the listing, there's a sunroom, which is going to be my office, and that is where the strongest money energy is. So that's perfect. The front door has career progression, so that's great for my husband as well. What else? The side door. So we're actually renovating the basement, and there's a side entrance. The side door is also great for whoever's going to be renting our basement apartment, because that's also a really great career progression energy in there. And for the renovation, we're gonna put in a kitchen down there, and where I'm going to put the stove is actually like a whole bunch of opportunities are going to come up that is attracted by that stove that I'm going to put into our basement. So whoever's going to be renting our apartment, basement apartment, is going to get the whole place as feng shui as I can make it, right? Obviously there are some structural issues. It would have been better. It would have been like A+ feng shui unit. But down there, it's like really good. I'm doing Flying Star, I'm doing Shen Gong Da Gua, I'm doing 6 methods, I'm doing Qi Men Dun Jia, 4 levels of feng shui in that unit. The same with upstairs as well. And even whoever's house hunting, or if you're not happy with your house currently, there is no such thing as a perfect feng shui home, right? So my office is really great. My stove could be better. Once we actually do the kitchen renovation, I'm going to fix the stove a little bit. Most likely with, obviously, Flying Star, but most likely with Shen Gong Da Gua as well. We have, what else needs work? The upstairs, the second floor where all the bedrooms are, those are fine. We just need to make sure that the beds are placed properly. So that's great. And so feng shui wise, it ticked a lot of the things that we were looking for. Anyway, back to the offer day. In terms of how I got this house. So my real estate agent was going to pick me up at 1:30. And in that whole morning, I said, okay, I'm not going to do any work. I'm going to do my inner feng shui stuff now. So those who are in manifesting code, or those who have heard me talk about manifesting code, or those who have heard me talk about above and beyond feng shui, this is what you do, okay? So in the morning, I did my meditation, I did my visualization. I went into my Akashic record to speak with my Akashic record guide in terms of, is this a good house for us? Is this the right number to be offering for this house? Just to get a sense of anything that we need to tweak. And even I wrote a letter to the owner, and I have a family picture right at the top of the letter. And I said, hi, we're the McLeod family. And we've been looking for a house for a while now, but it's been really, exasperating. But we fell in love with your house, and we hope you choose us. And I took that letter and I infused the letter with love. I'm not going to go into details. You will learn about it in Manifesting Code. But I looked at it and I infused it with love, because that letter is going to be given to the owner when we present the offer. And then with what I call Chinese law of attraction, which is another thing that we delve into, is to sit in certain directions with your back facing certain directions, to ask for certain deities. So I looked at the energy of the hour of that day, of that specific hour. It's increments of 2 hours, right? But at that specific moment, where are the deities presenting, in which direction? So when I sat and I did my prayer of sorts, so I did a prayer to the deities. I did my prayer, asking for assistance from the angels. I did a candle ritual with my back to specific directions. I infused the candle with my money essential oils, which we also cover in Manifesting Code. I cleansed the space prior to that to make sure that the energy is as heightened as possible. I also burned essential oils that also help me tap into the higher realm energies so that I get clearer messages. And so I did specifically one meditation visualization asking for help with the offer, one meditation and visualization asking to have a connection, build a connection with the owner, and then one meditation and visualization in terms of, if this is the right investment for us, let it come through. And I tell my Manifesting Code people all the time, as much as we want something, always end with this or something better. Because the other homes that we put an offer in, we really loved that homes as well. Like I mentioned before, we were emotionally invested. but we don't know what is our highest and best good house. So even with this one, I said, if this house is not for our highest and best good, let that deal fall apart. And so, you guys are, everyone's just listening, right? I haven't seen any new comments, by the way. Anyway, so yeah, I spent a good 3 hours, I think about 10 o'clock till noon. I took a break at noon, to take lunch. And then I had a little bit of time to fit in my third, meditation visualization. I actually did 2 candle rituals because I didn't want to leave it to chance. And then 1:30 came and my real estate agent came to pick me up and we went to the house. So we got to the house, and mind you, this is the first time I'm seeing the house. I took my compass with me to double check on the compass reading. And then, so that was all good. My real estate agent knows I do Feng Shui. So when she saw me do the compass reading, she was like, okay, everything's good. We're okay to put in the offer. I said, yes. So I had an hour, maybe 45 minutes to, walk through the house. And then I happened to see the owner passing by. We're not supposed to cross paths at that point, supposedly. So, when it came time to present the offer, I was ushered into my real estate agent's car, and they stayed in the house to, give our offer to the owner and her agent. And because I knew how the owner looks like, I was in the car the whole time. I was clearing the energy. I was building. Again, this is inner Feng Shui stuff. I'm not going to go into the nitty gritty of it because we do that in manifesting code. But the basis of it is me basically visualizing her. The whole time I was in the car, I had my back towards certain directions. I closed my eyes and I visualized the owner in front of me, and I sent love and I cleared the energy and I built our connection energetically. And I'm not going to go too much because I know the video is already really long, but our offer got accepted. So basically, from my husband and sister-in-law seeing the house, from that point until our offer was accepted was a whole 26 hours. So it was very quick in terms of how things moved. So that was a month ago. That was end of October. And we're getting the keys tomorrow. And so it has been a very, very intense few weeks because this being our first house, it's a lot of stuff to learn about your house and learn about how to be a good homeowner and the responsibilities that you have as a homeowner. But at the same time, for me, is also to boost it up Feng Shui wise. Now, going back to the fact that the house is at a cul-de-sac. We are the third last house from the cul-de-sac. And those who are in Feng Shui 2020, I know in our private Facebook group, we have quite a few actually of you guys in cul-de-sacs, and I know you're panicking over it. And my suggestion is inner Feng Shui. You need to go above and beyond Feng Shui at this point because you cannot fix the cul-de-sac. I cannot fix the cul-de-sac. So why would I buy a house that's third house from the end of the cul-de-sac? I'll tell you why. And I'll say this knowing full well that there are some Feng Shui practitioners out there who are going to think that I'm crazy for doing this. But I'll tell you why. Remember heaven luck, earth luck, mankind luck. You know, on all my videos, I talk about heaven luck, earth luck, mankind luck. We can never get away from that. Heaven luck is our astrology, our spiritual path, our karma, our past life, and how that impacts us. Earth luck is the Feng Shui, our home, how the rooms are, the external structures, the internal structures, and how that impacts us. There's also mankind luck in terms of our actions, our decisions, our self-sabotage, our discipline, our lack of self-control. That's our mankind luck. Now, in my 10 years as a Feng Shui consultant, I have seen a small group of people who have done really well despite bad Feng Shui. And I'll share one such one with you. It was a wellness center. So they have naturopathic services, massage therapy, I believe spiritual counseling. It's a wellness center. So the owner was undergoing renovation and she had me come in. And the center energy of that wellness center was really bad for money. And I was a little bit concerned. However, she said, she told me that all her practitioners in that wellness center, they're booked like 3 months ahead. So everyone's really busy. She wants to do the renovation not to boost the business, but to make sure that the renovation doesn't drag down the business, which she's a smart lady. But after my discussion with her, I was like, okay, tell me what you do every day. So gist of the story is she comes in every morning before she turns on the open sign, before she starts her business day, she asks universal energy, angelic energy to shore up, to protect her business. That was my first clue. This was maybe 6-7 years ago when I did this consult. Part of my journey into above and beyond Feng Shui. Okay. So that was one. And then the last place that we stayed at, we went into it. That was my first experiment. Okay. We went into it knowing full well that the energy at the apartment door is also not good for money. So I know it was a little bit risky, but we moved in with me knowing full well that flying star energy wise, it wasn't great. But there were other things, like for instance, our master bedroom was good, our kitchen was good. That 2 out of 3 is good, but still main door is still quite important out of the 3. And so we were there for many, many years, in fact, in that building, 7 years. And that was the time when I really implemented daily inner Feng Shui tools. My meditation, my cleansing the space, working with crystals, working with essential oils, working with my Akashic guide for my home, working with all those higher level, higher vibration energies to make sure that they boost up whatever Feng Shui placements that I have, and to also make sure that mine and my husband's actions are also getting supported in good ways. And in that unit, honestly, someone who does not do Feng Shui and does not do inner Feng Shui, in that apartment, they would have really bad money luck, really bad financial challenges. However, my business doubled, actually almost tripled while we lived there. And so now that was me taking a cue from my wellness center client, realizing that bad Feng Shui is not the end all be all. However, that's internal bad Feng Shui, right? Now I'm experimenting basically with the whole family, that we're going into a house where instead of dealing with just internal issues, now we're dealing with external issues. But I'm feeling really good about it because in the past 3 years, what I'm starting to call my spiritual chi, my spiritual energy has been really strong. My intuition I've been sharpening my intuition in terms of my, the way I can tap into messages, the way I also start to trust messages, because some of us we're naturally intuitive. Not me, actually, I had to practice it. But some people are naturally intuitive, but they don't necessarily trust it, right? So, I went into my Akashic guides, into my intuition, into work, getting messages that this is a good house for us, and the cul-de-sac is something that I can protect my family from. Someone who does not do daily energetic work like I do will have issues from the cul-de-sac. And we have seen many people, a lot of people, after I mentioned about the cul-de-sac, many of you come to me saying that, that you've known people who live in a cul-de-sac and they're having issues. And so what I'm going to be doing with this house, obviously Feng Shui the heck out of it as much as I could, but there's no remedy for the cul-de-sac, no Feng Shui remedy for the cul-de-sac. That will be up to me and my spiritual energy and my daily energy work. What kind of energy work? Anything and everything that I know, to basically have a bubble around our house that not just the cul-de-sac is not just to protect us from the cul-de-sac, but also to protect us from other harmful energies as well. I've always been doing that. This time, I'm just going to add on the cul-de-sac as another potential thing to be watchful for, right? So, like I said, in our private Facebook group for Feng Shui 2020, many of you are in cul-de-sacs, and many of you are really worried about it. And especially after me saying that there's no Feng Shui remedy for it. It is now up to you, especially if moving out is not an option. It is now up to you to go above and beyond Feng Shui. It's not an option at that point. If you have any external structural issues, other energy work must be done together with the maximum Feng Shui that you can do in your home. That is how you make sure that you don't get affected 100% from that structural issue. So I know this has been long-winded. Honestly, I was hoping I could do 15 minutes, but knowing what was I thinking? I know I'm a talker. If you guys have any questions about this, let me know. I haven't seen any new questions here. Oh, Flora's asking, what do you think about this book called The Book of Spirits? I have not heard of that book. To be honest, I have not read many new books lately, but I have not heard of that. But I'm definitely open to, different forms of energy because, again, Feng Shui is just 1/3 of it. You guys remember that. Feng Shui is 1/3 of that. I have another client who just moved into a house, a much better Feng Shui house. I'm so happy for him because we worked on the Feng Shui. We looked at the Feng Shui before he bought the house. So I know he's going into a much more prosperous and supportive Feng Shui. But I had to remind him, remember, in terms of your past life lessons, in terms of whatever karmic debt you may have, you still need to work with this one issue because that's outside the realm of Feng Shui. So he needs to, it's a little bit of a tough love for me because I said, because Feng Shui cannot fix that for him, it's outside of the Feng Shui realm, he needs to do his energy work each and every day. You cannot do your meditation and visualization when you need to, when you feel like it. You have to do it every day. And I tell my Manifesting Code members all the time, even if you can't do all the tools every day, pick one tool to do every day. It could be the clearing, it could be the journaling, it could be the meditation, it could be our money assignment. So those are the things that you need to do to meet the Feng Shui halfway. Okay? So I'm going to end that here. Sorry for a long-winded one. But tomorrow, if you want to keep an eye on Facebook or my YouTube community post, excuse me, I will be documenting this. I don't know how much, but I'll be getting the keys. I may or may not be going to the house tomorrow, but I know I will be going to the house on Thursday because I'm meeting with the contractors. I might do a video walkthrough. Announcement. I almost forgot about that. So announcement for this house is we're doing minor work for the main floor, but we're doing most of our renovation in the basement to get ready for a rental apartment. And I'm going to video blog and show you guys what a Feng Shui renovation looks like. Because I get a lot of people calling me to do a consultation for their reno. But that's the thing, a lot of people only know fast food Feng Shui, right? When they call me to do reno work and I quote them my pricing, they balk because they think Feng Shui is all about making it look zen, making it look good. It's all about placing, like fluffy, nice looking stuff. No. Incorporating Feng Shui into the renovation means looking at date selection, looking at the compass direction that the stove is going to be facing, that the door is going to be facing, looking at what are the permanent energies in all these rooms and picking out the tiles, the colors, the whatever that will work best for that room. And obviously with us, renting this out, I also want this to make this the most auspicious for whoever rents out the place. So the stove, specifically the stove, which is really, really good for opportunities, is going to be good for anyone who lives there. Versus the stove upstairs, for us, it would be good specifically for me and my husband. Because obviously we're going to live there. It's our first home, but I think I'm going to make it our forever home because I do not like the house buying process at all. I'm not leaving. But yeah, so there's ways of making a stove, for instance, auspicious for everyone in general, which is, specific 5 degrees in the compass. That's good for everyone. But there's also, based on astrology, specific 5 degrees in the compass that could work for me or my husband, but hopefully the both of us. So those are the myths that I want to start breaking in terms of what is really involved when you do a Feng Shui renovation. So for the next few months, you guys are going to see clips of me doing as the reno starts, as the reno progresses, and I think that will be fun. Thanks for watching, everyone. I know this was really last minute. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Keep your eye out on my Facebook page or the YouTube channel. Take care. Hello, this is Sabrina Kadri from Feng Shui and Prosper, and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you like what you've seen, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I do try to put out a brand new video every week. So if you subscribe, then you can make sure that you don't miss out on any of the other content that will be coming out your way.